Yeah, sounds good. And we're back to Radio Melee. We took a week off, for some much needed R&R on our hands, I suppose, because let me tell you, my index finger has been hurting more than it's ever hurt in 13 years of playing Melee because Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl is out, and I've been playing a lot of that. How you doing, PP?
Doing all right, man. Glad to be back. Glad to be here with such a powerful human. We have brought it all the way back. We had the Radio Melee off air, and then we were all getting our schedules messed up by Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl, and now we're here, ready to do the thing again. Let's talk about our experiences. Let's see what people have to say about this game, the impact on Melee. Melee 1.03, the software mod that's come out recently.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about. Tournaments have been happening. Streams have been taken off. A lot to say. And I think it's a good place to say it.
PP, can I tell you what Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl has brought to my Melee gameplay that I've actually wanted to work on for a long time, but kind of had been procrastinating?
Please.
Well, I took the spring, actually, out of my R button about a year ago, maybe a couple months ago. And I decided I would start power shielding with R. I've been an L shielder my whole life. But I never fully committed to making the switch, for specifically power shielding. Because you don't want that light shield to come up. Until Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl forced me to use my right hand to shield. Because you can't use L for shielding in that game. And you know what? I'll credit that to the Nickelodeon All-stars game every day of the week.
Toph, do you know how I solved this problem for me?
How do you do it?
I just didn't block.
Really?
So easy. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
In Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl.
In Nickelodeon, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about your tell me about your competitive experience in that game. Because you were in an invitational.
Right. That was the reason. I mean, maybe you were also busy. I don't fully remember, but I know for me, that was why we weren't able to meet and do the show last week, and other things were also going on. So yeah, my experience was I got invited to the invitational for on twitch.tv Nickelodeon. There were representatives that worked with the game a little bit that brought me in, and some other people, and I got the game a little before other people. And I mean, it was neat. It was a little reminiscent of doing the Smash 4 Invitational, like 7 years ago now.
Yes.
Yeah. There were the NDAs, and then there was you can't
about that.
You got to talk about it a certain way, and and then there's the promotional thing, and it would be good if you could act a certain way while that's going on, by the way, because this is our brand. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is very similar. It was kind of neat to see all the overlap there. But very different crowd. I was with a very different group of people this time as opposed to the Smash Invitational. But that was pretty cool. So I was around some people I wasn't usually, and I played Mars, had a close first game. I think it was winnable. Second game, he messed me up. So
he got you?
Yeah. So second, single limb kind of rocked me, but
that's all right.
It was neat. I got to. The day before that, we did our own filming, Golden Guardians, and I got to win a little bit, so that was nice.
That's true. You did win a little bit. I entered a tournament too. I entered a tournament last Friday. It was called the Wave Slime Invitational, and I went toe to toe with some great Smash Ultimate players, and also gamers from other platform fighters and stuff. That was a lot of fun. And it's been cool kind of seeing the different takes in terms of character strength. It's always fun when a new game comes out and people get to really put all their opinions out there about, okay, I think this is going to be what's dominant in the meta.
Yeah,
I think this is what so it's always kind of fun. I've been complaining to no end. Not really. I actually just first day, maybe second day, I was complaining about Toph. I don't think this character can cut it. And then since then, I've kind of just dropped the character. So it's been sailing since then.
It was so funny because you were like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be a Toph main, but I'm gonna play Powdered Toast main in every matchup. I was like, what are you doing?
That's what I'm doing, basically. I'm kind of realizing Powdered Toast man might not even necessarily be I feel like I'm actually not going that high up in the tier list as it turns out, but also Powder Dustman is really, really fun, so I don't
Yeah.
even mind. I don't even mind.
I saw
Yeah.
someone call the wave shining with him multi-graining, and I lost my mind.
Yeah, I really like that.
I
I
lost
really
my
like that. Multi-graining. Although, can I tell you, maybe you'll resound with this, maybe you won't. I actually take a little bit of an issue with that name because I feel as though multi-grain bread
Mhm.
isn't so good for like French toast. Powder, you know
Okay.
what I mean? Like I feel like
Okay.
wheat bread has that healthy, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I feel like if I'm eating French toast, I want some of that, maybe some Texas toast or some
Yeah.
white bread or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cinnamon
Yeah.
bread,
I assume, because multi-shining is more than one shine, multi-grain would just be you would just have a grain and then another grain.
and
Not
then
like
another grain.
so it'd be the same one, but it'd just be multiple of the same. So that's how I interpreted it. But
Mm,
you make a good point. I guess
mm,
that is a problem. It is open to interpretation.
got it. I'm down to I'm down to kind of as long as people understand that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
Then
no, it's a fair point, and we've really got to do darn it all, Toph, we've got to do something about this in the NASB community. I mean, what are we
we
doing
do.
here? We got to
Oh,
solve this
NASB. I
today.
never said that out loud. Listen, some of you are already popping into the Discord. I mean, you know the deal. I've seen some fresh faces too. But if you don't know, if you've got anything you want to ask us or tell us about your opinions on Super Smash Bros. Melee, 1.03 even, or Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl NASB, or your hot takes on the NASB tier list, or even what you think about maybe watching some tournaments that happened this weekend, like CLG Mix Up 2 and Pinnacle. Uh,
Mhm.
then ! Radio Melee is an easy way to hop in our Golden Guardians official Discord server. And you're going to see a channel in there, submit topics here, and you can just basically do what everyone else is doing and ask us a bunch of questions. And if you're available in the next hour, we'll drag you into the the voice channel that we have, and you'll be able to talk to us live on the air. So hopefully hope to talk to some of you first time listeners maybe in a little bit.
Yep, that'd be dope. And in the meantime, we can still, if you'd like to, we can still talk to what people were saying, a couple weeks ago on the YouTube, the community voice segment.
Oh, dude, I would love to talk about the community voice segment. Yeah, let's pull that up. Let's pull that up. Let's see what the people are talking about here.
What was I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea. I don't remember what the
It
question was.
was okay. So we had oh Lord, who was our most recent guest? Was it Jade? No, was it Cody? Was it Jade? I have a terrible memory, but fortunately, our good producer Q is going to be able to pull up the question and show us exactly what.
Yeah.
And it'll jog my memory because let me tell you, you take 1 week off, your whole world spirals into
Yeah.
oblivion and chaos. So
And I am definitely not
look at
going.
that.
Is it there?
Oh, yes, it was indeed Jade. Right.
Was
It
DJ.
was indeed Jade. And Jade, their question had to do
Mhm.
with basically who are some TOs, some tournament organizers that you'd like to shout out that you think do just really great work. And it
Mhm.
looks like Person of Bish?
I think it's
Person
blah.
of Blah. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. It's kind of small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Blah too, now that I look at it a second time. Community voice. He's out of the scene now, but I want to shout out ZV, a longtime Indiana TO and Smash Bros. Moderator. Oh, I remember ZV.
ZV was a big time Smashboards big shot. I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. Before Full Bloom started taking up, our best tournaments were Early Bird Special, right out of VA Community Center. It always ran super smooth with all the regional powerhouses showing up.
That's pretty cool.
Also,
I didn't know ZV did all that stuff.
Me neither. Yeah, that's awesome. SV2 answers DSJ and Destiny Bond carry the Colorado Melee scene on their backs. These two are amazing TOs who've done some pretty remarkable stuff for the scene. That's awesome. Yeah, there's TOs everywhere that are, it's actually really neat. The like TO community worldwide. Like, I mean, I remember being really impressed by Freeze. I mean, I always mention this tournament. There's a video now on the Golden Guardians channel about me talking about this tournament, Air. And when I went to Air and I met their team, I was like, it was funny because I never really heard of any of them before that tournament, but they were clearly so good at what they did. And I was like, it's funny that I've never even heard of y'all before, and yet you're clearly some of the most experienced at doing this in the world, which I thought was kind of neat. They just have TOs everywhere, man. Shout out to all the TOs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think TOs, they're just so behind the scenes. They don't get clout like players unless they're, running Genesis basically.
Right.
But maybe the air ones are going to get some clout. I feel like everyone loves that
Now, at
journey so
least.
much. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so interesting. They're so foundational. They're so fundamental to the scene. I think something that'd be really interesting is some type of content series that brings in TOs and has them talk about horror stories, how to optimize, a lot of things like that. Maybe it'd be easier for other TOs to do things or optimize themselves. Just something I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so I look at these answers, and not only am I very surprised that ZV ran tournaments, because again, I thought the Smashboards thing, they were basically head of Smashboards, I thought. But I mean, I'm also shocked by someone bringing up Colorado again. I mean, for a scene that seems, we had a question about them being so detached and far away from everyone. I mean, these guys seem just so passionate about it, and that's just a really cool thing. I'm just struck by that again, seeing this being one of the answers we have.
Love Colorado.
For
Went to
sure.
Denver one time. Went to Boulder. They got the mountains. You can kind of see them. They're nice. Got
Mhm.
nice mountains. That's all I have to say about Colorado.
I mean,
Colorado's great. Love Colorado.
mountains are dope. I'm here for it, man.
I love mountains.
Yeah. Um, man, dude, it is kind of cool just to be back doing this thing, seeing what the people got
Mm-hmm.
to say for us.
Yeah.
Um,
Should we
we
talk to some of them?
we got one waiting for us right now. We could do it.
Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on. And joining us is
Well, I think
Speedy. Oh,
I think is Wormlock still checking the mic. Actually, we might have to
oh,
wait.
maybe they've got some technical things that they're sorting out.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
We'll hang on a second, but Toph, how's your Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl content been doing, man? You've been putting a lot out there about that?
It's been good. I actually, it's funny. I would say I've been putting out less than put out content, more than I've just been doing a lot of streams of the game.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun entering this invitational, Waveslime Invitational on what the hell day was that? Was that Friday?
that's what you said
That was a
earlier.
lot of
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, Friday. I actually made the bracket, which was cool because it was round
Nice.
robin pools. So you had to beat enough people to make it out.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, you went pretty deep. You were saying like top 16-ish or something?
top 16 out of 24, so not super duper deep.
Okay,
But
okay.
I mean, I lost to. I feel like everyone I lost to either made top 8 at the event or was plup.
Okay,
Um,
that's tough.
yeah, which is tough, right? I think I actually tied plup, so that's how I
Oh,
think plup
wow.
also got 13th. I think we both got 13th, so it's tough tournament. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was fun, and I feel like it was just dope because, like, okay, I feel like the cool thing about new platform fighters is I get to play people that I would never ordinarily get to have close
Mhm.
games with in any existing game. Like, I got to play Meister, right? And like, when am I ever going to? I'm never gonna hold a candle to Meister in Smash Ultimate, and I don't see Meister entering a melee tournament. Right? So I like the guy a lot. We talk, we chat a lot. I've hung out with him on a few occasions, but I've never gotten any opportunity to play against him in any platform fighter, right? Because he's way too good for me at Ultimate, and I'm probably I just don't even think he plays melee. So, um, a game like Nick All-stars Brawl lets us actually fight each other. So that was kind of the coolest part about it for me. Was just getting to play people that I otherwise would just literally never play.
Yeah, that's
That's always nice.
definitely. I mean, new games or games that bring people together, I think, is cool, and I think it might be something we see more of in the community. Um,
Yeah.
I'm certainly interested in that, but I'm also interested in what Speedy
Mm.
Sloth has for us. I think their tech has probably been handled now. Speedy Sloth, who has been here the most number of times, has to be the record holder at this point. Welcome back to the show. How's it going? Where are you calling in from, gamer?
I'm calling in from MDVA, and yeah, I guess I'm
Hell
closest
yeah.
thing you guys have to a recurring caller.
You and Webb, I think. You and Webb have got to
Yeah.
be the recurring callers. Well, what's your question for us today?
So I guess the question is, I guess Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, definitely the topic of, I think, the day. You guys are talking a lot about
Mm.
it, and the Invitational. And I
Yes.
think with Melee, a lot of the reason why people love it is because it was so there are a lot of reasons, but I think developer like almost hands off. Obviously, like not necessarily with tournaments, but with updates. Obviously, there are certain things like UCF and whatnot, and changing stages, but there's definitely, you give Sakurai and his team another 6 months, it comes out a more polished game, but I think a more restrictive game. And I wonder, with as active as Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl's team is, do you think that developer over control and sort of over insight could be an issue for the game? Do you think they will, like, obviously they are ones that would like to have the game run free, but do you think that could be an issue?
So I think
That's
this
a
is a
good
cool
question.
question. That's a cool
Yeah.
question. And I feel like when I put out my video with my thoughts on it, I think a couple of the responses I got were, "Oh, this is someone that has this is the first time they're seeing these developers who love doing touch of death stuff." So in terms
Mhm.
of do I think they'll take away, your fun insane combos or your speed? No, I don't. So
Mhm.
I don't think you have to worry about the core gameplay changing.
Mhm.
Um so what does that leave? Maybe there are things or attacks or something that seem like they're going to be overpowered, but
Mhm.
there ends up being some way to DI or some way to avoid a setup for it at certain percents, and it wouldn't be as big of a deal if we let the players figure it out. Sure,
Mhm.
that's true. And they might just patch that out because a lot of people are complaining, and that'll be one of those things that it'll be hard to know if ever about how that's going to go. And so I don't know a lot about these guys, but it seems like, they want to make crazy fast, slap them up a bunch fighters. So in terms of making it restrictive, I don't see that being the case. And what else they
Mhm.
do with the game, I think we'll see in time because I'm not sure they want to change their core vision. So that's something
Mm.
for the community, for the NASB community to be happy about.
Yeah, I would definitely. Uh, that I definitely will agree. That does seem like they've had this kind of game that they want. I have seen something like where the developer who was on, oh, I'm forgetting his name. He was on commentary with Hbox, and I'm going to,
Thaddeus, probably.
yeah,
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. He posted something about how the Nair strings are not going to be working like they are currently. So definitely are going to be turning that down, which I do like. It hmm. It will interesting to see how, like, much control they exert over the, I guess, the community as a whole.
Yeah, so that's an interesting trade-off, right? You have if you change the Nair strings, does that I mean that would probably mean people do more tech traps. They probably try
Hmm.
to force people off the level sooner for edge guards, things like that, which I think, could be interesting, could be, valuable because tech traps I think are more interactive and harder than just doing Nair 400 times. So that'll be
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Um, but, does that make it so some characters who have maybe less range but more combo potential have a harder time keeping up, right?
Mm.
Like does that impact like the way some people are going to, like every time you drop a patch that changes something really large like that, I think some people who were very excited at first and like their character being stronger and then they lose their strength, I mean these people might quit or they might just be move away from the game for a while and stuff like that. And this is always the give and take with patches.
Mm.
Yeah, the way games are developed these days is different, right? Because I think in the
Yeah.
past, when you put out a game like, okay, Melee, I think you basically need to know you're putting out a complete package. And that's
Mhm.
not really the case anymore. I mean, when I watched some of these developer interviews right around the time Nick All-Stars came out, like kind of the sentiment was like, go ahead, break this game open. We can and will change everything. But I'm curious about that because it is not so easy to just change core game mechanics.
That's true.
Mhm.
Right, like, okay, so yeah, again, this is we talked about this in the Golden Guardians video. I have a separate video in my channel even going in further in depth, but it's like, yeah, I do feel like, there's a lot of homogeneity. Is that how I pronounce that word correctly? Like, a lot of the strong options in Nick All-Stars Brawl are very homogenous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If whether you're Aang or you're SpongeBob or you're, yeah, like the Nair strings you're talking about,
Yeah.
or the way throws work,
Yeah.
and how
Mhm.
with some characters they lead to everything, and with some characters they lead to nothing.
Mhm.
I am interested to see what they end up doing to address how strong, how weak certain options are right now. It does feel like Hitstun right now too is just very homogenous. You know what I mean? Like most moves have the same amount of hitstun. Like you don't have these moves that have a lot of hitstun that let you set up for various things. And so
where's my stomp knee, Toph?
Exactly. Well, my dream is, in a similar manner to how, okay, in Melee, like with the right percent, you can do something like you could do a grounded up tilt with Fox at 70 or 80, and they pop up in such a way that you can confirm and wave land onto the top platform and get a smash, like an up smash. Or you have the time to like wave land onto a platform and get a follow up. And I was hoping that there would be some setup that would let me do like a grounded launcher with Toph, jump into the air, make a block, and finish them off with an aerial smash tag. I think that, or a smash tag, a grounded smash tag in the air. But with the way everything is so universal right now, there's no move that gives me enough hit stun to do that. So from my perspective, I feel like it's weird right now because I feel like there's a lot of stuff they could change, but I think PP is absolutely right. I think that like anytime you make a sweeping change, you're going to be losing some people who really liked the way things were. And if they really do want to change so much of the game to promote different playstyles and promote different, character strength and stuff like that, I mean, we're talking bigger. Those would be bigger changes than most fighting games ever make. Like most fighting game patches, they basically you have the same base package for the video game. Okay, you have the same engine, the same mechanics, but you're never just. I feel like the things that people think the Nick All-Star devs are going to do, people are talking about it right now like they're going to gut the entire engine, right? And are they really going to do that? I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I think it's very difficult to do. I mean, name another fighting game where they literally a year after the game has come out, it just plays and feels completely different. At that point, you might as well be talking about a different version, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
I think also with the we haven't figured a lot out yet. Obviously it hasn't been out. Like, still, it's kind of unclear how specifically DI works. I believe PTAS put out a tweet like where essentially you can only DI in or DI out, which is an interesting concept. But there doesn't seem to be SDI, and even if there were, it doesn't look like it would do that much. It just seems like a kind of a lack of defensive options in general. I mean, shield is just like the blocking ability is just like completely busted. I feel it's very safe and you can get shield grabs super easy, even though they don't lead to much. It just seems like you said, it's not a lot of counterplay, but that's kind of the thing. It's like, if we make every single move broken, then it's like, well, no move is broken. I guess that's kind of what they were going for. I wonder how like they'll try to balance like you said, having every character still be super fun, but also not making it to where it's a completely different game and you're alienating those players. And also, I think it could be an issue. Like a lot of the reason with Melee, it's like you can never pester the devs and be like, change this, because God knows if Melee came out like in this year, it'd be like, change Fox up smash, guys did this and this.
Melee
and
wouldn't make it.
Oh, and it's kind of like for a lot of players who are stuck in this rut and like with the matchup or whatnot, it's you can't like complain. Obviously, you can. People do. Complaining is fine, but sometimes you have to be like, okay, this is not going to change. Falcon is not going to change. Peach is not going to change. Ice Climbers are not going to change. Fox is not going to change. Martha's not going to change. Yeah. This game is not going to change. I have to get better. And I wonder if that sentiment is going to persist. I mean, I don't know if it's persisted totally in Ultimate, because it's kind of like still getting updates of new characters that are still really, really good. But again, I don't know. That's something to look forward to.
There's always a funny little monkey's paw effect with the way by the way, I turned myself down by half. I don't know if apparently my mic was speaking and I haven't changed anything with my audio setup, so I think it's literally just Discord's fault, but whatever. Anyways, the thing is, like, it's funny. There's always been this monkey's paws effect with the way patches get handled in like Ultimate, for example, because the things that they end up patching, the things people ask for, are completely different. And it's really funny. Like people are like, "This is broken. We gotta nerf this. Please nerf this." Blah 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 blah. Blah. And then like Nintendo comes around and they're like, "Yeah, we actually like these characters you thought were really strong. Yeah, we actually buffed them further. Have fun." It's like you never. There's always a lot of as much as people complain and ask for patches, it's also ultimately up to the developers to decide what they want to do in the first place. So just because people have the ability to voice things to the devs, that doesn't necessarily mean the devs are going to touch what people expect them to touch. And I also feel like the whole patch thing, it has to do not only with character strength, but also like the fun factor of the game, right? And I feel like they might very inclined to buff things that feel repetitive, if that makes sense. That might be something, because I feel like right now there's a lot of there's a very repetitive kind of punish game system in Nick All-Stars.
And I think that I like the idea with the rock, paper, scissors defense, but it doesn't feel like completely fleshed out enough for it to really like feel very fun of like being able to read your opponent and something like that. I don't know though. I haven't played enough yet.
I have one exact thing it's really good for. I have one set up. It's the Toph. People, you know about the Toph landing?
No, please educate me.
Okay, check it out. It's really strong. Okay, so you know how like you'll be up in the air and people love to shark you with strong up air. People love, because they're like, well, if I hit it, it's gonna kill you at like 50, right? So people will shark you with strong up air. They'll go up there. So what you do is you do strong neutral air in the air, your aerial strong neutral air, and and then you air dash cancel it downwards, because you know how you can air dash cancel moves downwards in this game.
Oh,
so you do strong air and then you. Yeah, yes, you can, and you can do it anytime after the move starts. So I get a lot of mileage off on a lot of people because they go up there looking for that strong air, and I do, or strong up air. So I do strong air and then I fast fall. That's the one usage that I found that's pretty consistently able to outplay people.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to use
a little gameplay tips for you guys.
Yeah, please. Yeah, we're learning so much here. Speedy, Sloth, and Toph unlocking all of our axons, our myelinated brain pathways are expanding right now.
You just said like 2 words I didn't know, but I liked both of them, how they sounded.
Whenever I play the game, it's like the scene with Patrick, and it's like the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
I love that line. And I feel bad for Patrick. That character doesn't seem very strong right now, but that's okay. Can't win them all. Patrick. No. I'm just excited that his down smash is the hello, this is Patrick.
The crown up smash is probably one of my favorite references. He also has the butt laser. That one's great.
He does. I don't even remember what that episode is from, to be honest with you.
I didn't either. I had to look it up.
That's
the end of my question.
I'm going to pivot this one.
Okay.
PB, how do you feel about the fact that there are multiple like butt/flatulence based moves in the story? I don't like it. Let me tell you, I don't like it.
You do not like it. You
I
are thumbs downing.
What about Wario? Like, how do you feel about Wario?
Well, he said he doesn't like that there are multiple.
Okay. So in moderation.
Dude, a quarter of the cast in Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl generates hitboxes with their ass. That's too many. That's too many.
Yeah, in Melee, it's just Peach, I guess.
Oh, I'm not wrong. Okay, yeah. Let's say, yeah, well... Anyway, I'm just saying, okay, look, I'm 32 years old. I'm 32 years old. When I play Nick All-Stars sometimes with some of these moves, I feel too old. I'll just say it, I feel too old. Let me tell you, for those of you who find flatulence funny, you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to be like, isn't that funny? I don't know. Maybe it's not that funny. It's like kind of funny, but only in a certain context.
Toph, if we're recording a Golden Gardens video and Zane makes a farting noise into the mic, I laugh. I turned 31. I turned 31.
Does he do that really? A lot?
No, that's part of why it would be really funny.
Okay.
Does he do that a lot? Actually, I think the last time anything like this happened was when we did that audio trivia, and there was the
Just a fart noise.
Well, no, it was what was it? It was really difficult. It was Mr.
it-
Saturn or something.
Oh yeah.
One of those. And Zane was like, "Is this just Zeke? Is this just Zeke farting into the mic?" It was Mr. Saturn or remember there was one that was
was
like
was
kinda,
it Wheezing, the one you're thinking of, or was that not?
It might have been Wheezing, but I mean, well, that would make sense, right?
Yeah,
but I think it was
that's
the
what
one
I was
that,
imagining.
it sounded like one of those armpit noises. It sounded like I can't do it, but it sounded like
Yeah,
a
okay,
kind of noise.
it wasn't that then. Yeah, I'm not
I think it
sure.
was
I know.
Mr.
I think
Saturn.
I know kind of what you're talking about, but I swear they just made up the sounds. But anyway,
I think I still think Zeke actually just farted into the bike. To be honest with you. See, but there's some context there. That's funny. And it's not just the body humor. It's also the, you know what I mean?
Toph,
Yeah.
Toph, I need to Toph, we are 30-year-olds and we play games that
Yeah.
are made for like children. This is our fate.
That's true.
I thought you would have been used to it by now, but I guess.
Dude, anyway, Speedy Sloth, thank you for the question.
Okay.
I think it's a great question. TBH, to answer your question in a word, yes, I think it could be an issue. I think I think I'm gonna wrap this one with a bow and say, yeah, I do think it's a concern. They're in an interesting spot right now because they have a lot of power. And they have a lot of goodwill in the community right now, but they've got a tough job ahead of them.
Yeah.
They've got to make some tough calls, I think. And you know, because I think the things people think are going to happen out of Nick All-Stars, people are thinking a lot of change might happen. They've got to really sort out what direction and what vision they want to have for this game. Because yeah, I mean, it's they got a good base package right now. But, you know, there are already some very pressing concerns, I think, right, about certain things. And we've seen that they have the ability to patch on a pretty quick basis. They got those infinites out
in between
damn
a
fast.
tournament, during
a tournament, that's right.
During the tournament.
Mid-tournament. And then, which was very, very sad for, who's Sandy was it that was still in? You know, it's funny. I actually was using that infinite, which was funny. I actually learned that infinite for that tournament because it turns out Powder Toastman can do it too. It's just harder to set up, which is pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be tough and it's going to be interesting. And you know, they could succeed or they could fail. We'll see what happens.
True, 50-50. Speedy Sloth, thank you so much for calling in. You got any shout outs for us on your way out today?
Not. I guess so. I just wanted to mention like SmashCon is this weekend. I'm gonna be going. I'm gonna be commentating. Well, I don't know. Well, it's not okay. I was like, should I say? Because like the official thing wasn't announced, but like it's like in 5 days. Whatever. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be doing things. I'm actually gonna be. It's going. Make sure watch the tournament. It's gonna be a good tournament.
Check it out. All right. Well,
Wow.
Thank you. Very impressive shout out. Maybe practice next time. Anyway, thank you for calling in. Bye.
Nick All-Stars Brawl, what a game. What a game.
It's a game that exists. I don't think anyone can argue that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We got to do more episodes of just those two. This is pretty funny.
This is fun. Yeah.
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 All right.
Oh, God.
I'm ready for our next caller if you are.
Let's bring him in. And Knuckles.
How's it going?
Oh,
Where are you calling in from?
Loved your work in Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic.
Hey, how is everyone doing? I'm
Good.
good.
How are you?
Well.
Where are you
Yeah,
calling
I'm
in
good.
from?
The Netherlands. It's very late here.
Oh,
It
hell
is
yeah.
very late. It is very late. Let's get your question going so we can hurry up and get you to bed, gamer.
I'm gonna get on Slippy, but yeah, fair enough. So I think it's been like 2 years now. 2 years ago, I was responsible for starting the transition in Europe from PAL to NTSC.
Oh, it was
And
you.
Great work.
Yeah. And one of the main arguments against it was a slippery slope with modding. It started with UCF, but that was kind of overall accepted. And then NTSC, it was like, what version are we going to play? 1.0, 1.01, etc. And then people were like, yeah, but what's next? We're going to fix Foxes Up Smash to be PAL, but change everything else. We're going to remove Battlefield ledges. We're going to disable Wispy, free Stadium. And obviously, Stadium already got frozen, right?
Yeah,
in Europe.
it did.
So now with 1.03, I'm kind of starting to see their view on the slippery slope argument with where does it end. I saw the video, they were talking about stage changes, obviously input swaps, and it's like, where does it end and who's going to govern these changes? How do you
That
guys see that?
That I mean, this is something especially I've been trying to say on this show for a while. This is coming. It is not going away. Even if we stop this memory card in its tracks, this will not be the last time. And we have to form something to make rules because if we don't, we're just going to have renegade goons running around trying to mod a bunch of stuff. And if everyone is like, "Yay, this is good. This has no problem at all," then this how we're just up to it's just up to whoever wants to take the time to get it modded, and their views are what we're kind of left with. And so I would rather see people work together, have different points of view, have a discussion, find what works best for people come out of that, and at least govern in that sort of way. But I'm gonna be honest, I feel like with modding only getting easier and easier, I don't think it's going away. The question to me is, do we put this stuff in our tournaments and especially our offline majors, because that is setting up a legal fight with Nintendo. If Nintendo watches a tournament, they don't see the FD background move, they don't see Wispy Blow, they don't see Fly Guys, Stadium doesn't transform. Where's the rock coming out of the stage? Hey, wee woo, you're going to court. I mean,
Hmm.
it is insane.
Yeah.
That we even kind of consider this as again, it is so concerning, and to just drop this with no, hey, let's test this among top players, let's get a discussion among TOs, I think is very concerning. The decision itself was concerning, but then what it sets up is concerning, but what it says about the future is concerning. So this is all something that I've been a little concerned about and talked about for a while. So I don't think making these decisions or wanting these things for Melee is bad. And in fact, because we are basically the devs of our own community, these are things that we'll want to do. And eventually we're going to try, I'll tell you right now, we're going to try and add stages. We're
Hmm.
going to try and do cosmetics, and we're going to try and do all that other stuff because we're like, well, we got away with it so far. And I try not to get too worked up about it, but we are here now, and it's time to say something a little more forceful about it. We have to take this seriously, and we have to make leadership. We have to form some leadership to do something about it,
Hmm.
because Nintendo didn't blur. Taking a Google form every so often is not going to cut it anymore. And so, um,
Yeah.
you can go ahead, Toph. I've said enough, I guess.
Um. Yeah. I mean, there's a small kind of committee thing that I guess both me and PP you're in that too, right? The Nintendo's kind of controller strike team thing.
You and I talked about it, but I'm not as informed as you are about controller
Oh,
stuff, so
okay,
I'm not
okay,
too tied
okay.
into it.
So I mean, there's a little bit of I think you could probably be in if you needed to or wanted to, but there's like a kind of a committee that Nintendo propped up around controllers and drafting rules around controllers, and I do think that yeah, TLDR. I think what we need the most is we need some form of a basic governing body. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be, you know, so just a document, if nothing else, a document that tournament organizers can use and say this is the rule set. That yes, there should be some committee or some body of people that at least determines what is too far per se.
Hmm.
And with controllers, we're starting to have that, but I mean, this is a whole nother thing. This is modding the game itself, and I mean,
Right.
I'm with you. I actually don't think we should mod the game at all. Besides the UCF stuff, I mean, a couple of years ago, we were using like Arduinos to basically simulate UCF on at majors, and we were running vanilla Melee, but with these the Arduinos that kind of modify your
External
input and kind of
boxes.
And let me just say,
yeah,
if I
exactly.
can, just really quickly, Toph, it was the same person that was making the changes then and now, just so we're clear.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Um, what are the big differences? Because I actually haven't. I haven't been. I've been kind of traveling and stuff. What are the major differences in 1.03 PP?
Let me see if I can do it all off the top of my head. There was a video out about it recently. I did my own, but he's implementing 1.0 Cardinal, which I think was probably one of the more controversial things from
Yeah.
the Goomwave discussion. But 1.0 Cardinal, he extends the shield drop range, which Fizzy says makes shield do it an entirely different way, which he doesn't like. You make dash back out of crouch 2 frame instead of 1 frame. You freeze Wispy, no screen shake. You standardize the FD background.
So Wispy doesn't do anything anymore?
Wispy does not do anything anymore. No fly guys.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. Why?
he
I
didn't.
hate Wispy and Shy Guys, but why?
Basically, and this was something, and I talked about this a little in my video. Hacks pushed in the melee backroom a long time ago for removing Brinstar and Mute, and part of that was just because he didn't want to play on the stage. He wanted to just play against the player. So this is an extension of that, and this is something that is popular in the community. So people will say this is fine, but it's still like it's almost like trivial to me because these are things that I think are it's very easy to play around them a lot of the time. But especially given the Nintendo risk, it just seems kind of wild. But
Yeah.
I think one of the
Seems
things
a
that I
little-
do like more about stages is he makes the fountain platforms at the same height at the beginning, so there's no one who gets like an
Sure.
advantage of dropping down. Sure, I think he also he does a polling drift fix, which is more useful for so this is off for offline, so that's kind of useful because now you don't get messed up by polling issues. But there's also, let's see, I'm missing
There's
some.
one major one that you're missing. He's implementing airtime limit and ledge grab limit like hard
Yeah.
coded in, which is
Let
pretty big.
me. I'm pull up my draft of the video that I made. Yeah, so there's he creates a 6-minute timer, a 45 ledge grab limit. Then he has a puff air time limit, which you also can change for numbers. And I'm trying to see. Yeah, so I think I've got. Oh yeah, you can remap your buttons with.
Yeah.
So you can remap jump to a shoulder button, L, R, or Z by doing something in the character select screen. So that is
Interesting.
everything that he does.
Yeah, I guess
which
I
is a
just feel
lot.
like it's a lot. I feel like the way you make a change like this is some of that stuff sounds really good. Like the pulling drift fix.
Yeah,
like
polling
the,
drift. That's hard to argue with, I think.
hard to argue against. Yeah, I mean, 2-frame dash back out of crouch. I've seen the argument for that, which it's similar to the dash back period thing, which is that because of the fact that human thumbs don't move at the speed of light, the game can always pull in a certain. You can always get a little bit screwed by. You don't know when the game's actually going to pull for an input, so you could always miss your dash back. Okay, fine, but then stuff like freezing Wispy, stuff like removing fly guys, shy guys, whatever you want to call them. 1.0 dash, I'm in favor for, but I feel like, yeah, I feel like a lot of this stuff feels like I feel like they should be 2 separate packages. I feel like we should get the package that just has the really good quality of life changes and the stuff that is feels like it would belong in a quote unquote UCF package. But like when you're getting an airtime limits and stuff like that, you're basically arguing for. At that point, you're basically nerfing characters, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that's like I don't think you can just roll that. You can't. Can you just ship that?
It's what he's doing.
It's what he's doing. I mean, who ultimately makes the call? At the end of the day, end of the day, it's each individual TO.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you, but there are going to be a lot of people that are going to start using this, and they're going to say, "I won't go to your tournament. I'm not going to go to your tournament if you don't run this." And there's going to be a lot of pressure on TOs, and then TOs have to make a choice: do I run this and risk Nintendo, or do I not, and then just piss off a bunch of people? Which is why I think a lot of this memory card stuff didn't get shipped to top players or TOs or anything beforehand, and it just gets released just to people.
Well, I think
it didn't get shipped to top players so that top players wouldn't be able to voice concerns ahead of time or something.
It's something I've considered. It's not necessarily the case, but if I were making it and I were wanting to see how people felt about it, what I would do is give it to people. I would give the ideas to people, and then I would say, you can either like it or not, but you can try it out with this. If everyone doesn't like it, I could just disable the feature. That's what I would want to do. And so, and instead, here's this thing. And so that's concerning. And so whether I don't know if it was considered or not, but that is a possibility I'd like to keep open.
So to weigh in there originally, because I'm also TO, like I TO the DreamHack, etc. My main reason for wanting NTSC in Europe was to even the playing field worldwide. We have a lot of
Yeah.
top players like Frenzy, etc. We have to constantly adapt the PAL and NTSC, and I wanted to get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to,
Yeah.
if this gets adopted, you'll have to adopt it too. You won't have a choice.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Eventually, people didn't want to go to TOs who hosted PAL anymore because the majority played NTSC.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
this can happen with this as well, but then you have the other end of the stick, which is Daddy Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
everyone is able to do it. I've had tournaments that I've TO'd for with contracts that basically said what I can and can't do, and I sure as hell can't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is setting up a type of split, and what are we gonna do here?
Yeah.
Are
I
people
like
just not
I
gonna want to
like
go
the
to
NT
majors?
I like the NTSC thing you did because it did the opposite. It didn't it promoted unity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it enforced I like the idea of running the same version everywhere because you're getting everyone on the same page. But this is the opposite of that, right? This is promoting a split and potentially making like PP said, there's going to be tournaments that some people just might not want to go to because of the game they're using, the game version they're using.
Yeah,
So
this
I think
is-
it's I like what you did with the NTSC promotion. But I think this is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, this isn't going away. Even
No.
even if like somehow a thunderbolt comes down and strikes the memory card factory and Hack says, "Oh, never mind." This isn't like now everyone has the ideas someone else might do it or, in a different way or something. And so, like again, the stage mods, there will be stages be like, "Oh, we can finally get rid of FD. Now we have stage with one long platform in the middle because we don't have that yet." So, like whatever it is that we end up doing or trying to do, this is something that's coming, and there are people that will say, "Oh, well, this is good," or "Oh, this is good that people are taking initiative," but there are legal concerns. There is just no oversight, and I would just like to see people work together more and have different ideas come together, and out of that something that works, for the greater good of people come forward. And that's what I would
Yeah.
like. And so that's just not something I really feel with all of these changes. So again, like, the polling drift, really hard to argue against. I don't really think there's even a way that Nintendo could know about that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these, it's not the way, that's not the way I can feel about it. So yeah, I mean, rolling it out in two separate things, like Toph said, could be pretty cool too. But I don't think it changes the fundamental shift that's happening in the community, everything that's setting us up to fight against Nintendo, and what are we going to do then, and all that. But this is big, and so I do hope something gets formed. I mean, maybe, I don't really know who's the person to try and make that happen, but I guess if someone has to try and organize something, I'd like to see if I could be part of it, so I could at least help out. And if
Yeah.
I think one of the main things about these mods, and Toph already brushed over that a bit, is one of them evens the playing field, right? Things like which UCF already did. 1.0 Cardinals, whether I agree with it or not, these even the playing field between, as weird as it sounds, the poor and the rich, the top player and the average player, because they don't have access to the same controllers. But
Right.
others of these literally change the meta. If you implement a ledge grab limit and an airtime limit, you are actually changing the meta in one clean swoop. And I'm not okay with that personally.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, these are big things, and so I totally feel you. I wish I wish I could give you some consolation. I wish I could tell you, hey, there's a governing body that you can submit your claim to as a TO that's done good work for the scene, but I can't.
I mean, there's always something I can start up. Who knows?
Yeah,
I
I
do
mean,
think I what I would like to see is more instances of like when things like this get rolled out, I feel like TOs should be the first people that are consulted. And it's I mean, It could literally just be, like the biggest TOs, but I think it would be really good if there was a way for TOs to some TOs that are able to at least voice the side of things, like you're saying, where it's like, is this even something I could do even if I wanted to because of Nintendo-based concerns? Someone's got to present that argument, and I think it's going to be the TOs, right? So it's kind of a bummer that we're not there right now.
Yeah, no, it's a real concern, and the way I always looked at it when we wanted to implement changes like Frozen Stadium, for example, in Europe, is how does Nintendo respond to that? Is it something that the average viewer will spot? And if so, we should probably not do it because some event will not be able to run it, and it will cause a split in the meta, right?
Yeah.
That's
Right now, another interesting fact is not even just a split in terms of which tournaments people enter, but if Fizzy's not on board with these changes, I mean, anything that ends up in Slippy goes to Fizzy. And let's just be honest. Most Melee these days is played on Slippy, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
The biggest tournaments are all run offline, sure. But the day-to-day, I mean, I've played much more Slippy than I've played offline, right? In the last year or two. And I think it's probably that way for a lot of people. A lot of the practice we do happens online these days. So, I mean, I don't see 1.03 being adopted unless there is some kind of consensus that I feel like Fizzy needs to buy in or it's a non-starter. You know what I mean? Or people will pressure Fizzy to put it in. But I mean, regardless, I think the conversation has to happen. Otherwise, there's gonna be two different versions. I don't know.
Yeah,
but then the question, go on.
I was just gonna say, does Fizzy want to take the work to implement all that stuff? That delays ranked, which he doesn't want to do. Then I mean, so if he has opposition, that's just he's really not going to want to do it, or he'll only do the parts maybe he wants to do. But yeah, I mean, what a weird world that would be, where everyone really was like wants to say, "Oh, I really don't think online tournaments matter. You've got to go to the offline because that's where 1.03 is." Like that would and then the people that live in more dislocated scenes would really have a hard time, and so it's difficult on that level. I think that's absolutely a fantastic point to bring up, Toph.
And then the question is also, do you want Fizzy to have that power, right?
Yeah,
Let's say that we do want to implement something like that and he can deny it. That's, I'm playing devil's advocate here. But...
Sure. No, that's a fantastic point as well.
If Fizzy turns evil.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Hacks says doing all of this stuff in one vein, and then the only person stopping it is one other person. This is our one check, our one other person that could do something. Like, this is what the community is now. It's just like 3 people that are making all the decisions, and then there's Radio Melee where we're like, hey, we probably need to have something different.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's a fantastic point too. What are we gonna do here?
Yeah. So we'll see. I hope that some form of a governing body of TOs and top players at least comes together to review changes like this. It would be a good start because right now I don't feel like we have a starting point.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. If you want to take some type of initiative to get that going, I know there are TO groups, and if there can be something started in there, maybe that could be where it starts. But if someone else hearing this wants to start it, I'd be glad to do what I could to be part of it. I've been part of the Melee backroom when there was the 25 or whatever. I did part of that, so I think I have some experience. Certainly like to do something, sign on, and help out where I could. But yeah, I think this really does show the need for that, and so I think it's wonderful that you brought this up today.
All right, thank you. And shout outs to Fizzy in the chat right now saying, I will likely do what the community thinks is best. If the community thinks something is valuable, I likely won't shut it down.
Yeah.
No
Agreed.
evil Fizzy.
No evil Fizzy. I don't believe in an evil Fizzy for what it's worth. It's funny because you do bring up the devil's advocate, but of what if Fizzy just makes bad decisions? But I don't think it's possible. I actually trust Fizzy with my life. So.
Okay, damn.
I realize that that's a very subjective thing to say, but
yeah,
I'm happier with Fizzy behind the helm than basically anybody else. So
sure, I still think we need a governing body. but I do like Fizzy.
I agree. Yeah. Fizzy should probably be on it. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. That would probably be
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But thank you, Knuckles, for calling it out. Honestly, wonderful insight and questions. So really appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming on.
You got any shout outs for us today on your way out?
Shout outs to my girlfriend, the newbie. I think she's watching. So shout outs to her. Shout outs to Amza, brother Amza, for getting married. I don't think many people know, but
No way.
I saw that. I saw that on Facebook.
Amza
Yeah.
Let's
married?
fucking go, dude.
Oh, that's great.
That was awesome.
So congratulations to him, and yeah, shout outs to everyone in the melee scene. Thank you so much for having me again, and have a great day.
You too.
All right,
Yeah.
take care. Bye bye.
Bye. Wow, that's great. Yeah, congratulations to Amsa. Not the Japanese Amsa, but the Dutch Amsa.
Yeah, the wedding pictures I saw on Facebook were really wonderful.
Oh, I never check Facebook anymore. I guess that is one
That's
thing
probably-
Facebook's good for, is finding out when your friends get married.
That is about all. Let's bring on our next caller.
Let's do
Space
it.
Opera. What's going
Space
on?
Opera. What's up?
Where are you calling in from?
Hey, how are you guys? I'm calling in from New York this time.
Oh yeah. Oh, you said better now. I thought you were calling in from literally space. Your mic sorted itself out.
Yeah, no, last time I called in a couple months ago, I was in DC, but as of a week ago, I've now moved to New York, which is super exciting.
Dope. So what's your question for us today, Space Opera?
Awesome. So my question today is, which I guess is kind of a pivot from what we were talking about before. So I love watching low tiers, and particularly Mr. Game & Watch. I find so freaking goofy and wacky. And one thing that's everyone knows at this point was that there was a lot of mistakes made with Mr. Game & Watch, like due to literal coding errors, right? So my question is, if Mr. Game & Watch was made without mistakes, as the devs intended, i.e. with a real shield, L-cancelable moves, and a normal spot dodge, how much higher on the tier list do you think he would rise?
Yeah, that's not a bad question at all. Also, PP is invisible now, maybe as an homage to Game & Watch's, completely black nature. PP's camera has now gone completely black. I don't know if that's intentional. Well, maybe we just lost PP. I'll start us off. I think Game & Watch is... That's a good question. How much higher would he rise in the tier list? I think Game & Watch is not that bad. He's not that good, but he's definitely not that bad. He hits hard. I played Game & Watch for a little bit. I think Game & Watch has some secret not bad matchups in a way. I used to really like fighting Puff with Game & Watch because he is the best kill throw against them, because he is down throw nair, which is basically up throw upper, except can't be smash DI'd. The shield thing does hurt him quite a bit, but I mean, there's also other aspects to Game & Watch that make him low tier. It's not just that he can't shield, and it's not just that he some of his moves can't be L canceled. I think he might rise to, especially with, hey, PP's back. What's up, dude?
I am so sorry. It's just
What
a
happened?
computer thing. It's just a computer thing. It like black screens sometimes, and I've been trying to fix it for like a year. But
I thought you were intentionally doing a bit with Game & Watch.
No, I didn't even hear the question.
The question is, if everything about Game & Watch worked, if his shield worked, if he could L cancel his moves, how much higher could he rise on the tier list? He could be, I think, especially with the right hands behind him, I think he could be maybe close to like mid tier, maybe Mario-ish strength. I'll tell you right now, I'm when I run into a Game & Watch on Slippy as is, I'm more scared of the average Game & Watch than the average Mario, for example.
Do you know if Game & Watch can L cancel his fair? I think he can.
He can, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's kind of why I'm not,
I don't think it changes that much.
Because he uses fair neutral more than the other aerials anyway.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I don't think it actually changes that much.
He can already L cancel the two most important aerials that he needs to L cancel, which are fair and down air.
Yeah, not being able to L cancel Nair does remove some low percent combos from him, I guess, but I don't think it matters that much. And he doesn't use back air a lot anyway. So
yeah, Yeah.
I guess like being able to up air would give him access to a little bit more too. So if he could L cancel up air, he'd probably get like some better combos, like maybe off grab or something. So I guess there is that. That'd probably up air would probably be what gives him the most value, and maybe nair a little bit at low percent. But he could still just down air and or down tilt and down air and forward air, which are all pretty good. So
I think it's more so than the L cancel stuff.
yeah, I guess his
Arguably.
jump squat, it makes it a little tough for him to do much out of shield, and his grab range isn't the greatest. So I feel like he'd still kind of get blown up if he even if his shield is decent. But yeah, it would help. So
To
I
be
don't know.
honest with you, with Game and Watch, you know, I feel like where is he on the tier list right now? Let me look up Melee tier list.
Yeah, where is he now?
I kind of think Game and Watch is like intrinsically somewhat already a little bit underrated.
Sure.
Not much. I don't think he's, you know, high tier or anything.
I mean,
but,
people are big Game and Watch fans.
Like, okay, March 29, 2021. Like right now, he's below the links, below DK. Yeah. See, like, okay, me personally. Oh, it turns into a matchup question at that point.
It does.
I'm definitely more scared of as a Spacey. I think the characters in this range that I'm the most scared of are like DK and Game and Watch, because Game and Watch actually has a pretty strong punish game. Like Game and Watch can definitely like, and he can gimp. He's really quite a good edge guard if he knows how to do the edge guard. But then, you know, okay, for what it's worth, I also still think Game & Watch, he does pretty decently against some floaties. Game & Watch Puff is better than people might think.
I agree with that. I think Game & Watch Peach is absolutely abysmal, though.
Yeah. Game & Watch Peach is bad.
But that's okay. I mean, that's not like the mid-tier experience is not like that unusual. So
yeah.
So
You're
he
gonna have
can
some matches you really suffer in.
Yeah, I don't really know what I think the matchup spread for like Link and Young Link really is, but Game & Watch, I just from like my experience playing them too. Yeah, I could see him go past the Links for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe he goes top of low tier, maybe super bottom of mid tier, and then if he get L cancel, then like maybe he definitely gets bottom of mid.
The shield thing is a big quality of life thing for me. It maybe at least quality of life, because I used to play Game & Watch at the Twitch office against my coworkers, and there were two Marths that I would play with. One of the Marths would jump around and he would try to dash dance, and he would do, you know, he would try to play like a quote unquote good Marth. Okay, he'd do forward airs and he would do nairs and he'd dash dance me, you know. And the other Marth spammed a lot of forward smash. Okay, let me tell you, as Game & Watch, that forward smash Marth was a terror to fight, because as soon as I was pushed towards the ledge, you know what I do in a lot of characters is when I'm fighting a Marth that I'm pretty sure is going to go for forward smash, I'll put my shield up, I'll shield the forward smash, and then I'll wave dash forward and punish them. With Game & Watch, I would have to light shield a lot of the time. I could shield angle, I suppose, but
you got to spot dodge. You got to call him out.
Right. I mean, it gets really annoying. Because I would get shield poked a lot, and it would put me off stage, and it's a really annoying spot to be if you're not that great at sweet spotting, which I wasn't. And also, if you go that low, they can kind of see you're going that low and set up for a down or something. And yeah, like if I light shield to block the forward smash, well, now I have too much shield stun to wave dash forward and punish it. So it got really annoying dealing with some pretty degenerate options, just not having a functional shield.
Sure. And
so I don't know how much it changes the matchup at a top level. Like if you can really react and spot dodge, I don't know how viable that actually is, but okay. You know, I would probably feel a lot more comfortable fighting a forward smash heavy Marth, for example, as Game & Watch with a better shield. And I would probably venture to say that a lot of other options that would get very degenerate in certain matchups, like maybe just Falcon spamming knee across the stage or something, there's probably some kind of options that just get a lot nicer to deal with when you can trust your shield the way other characters can. I don't know that that's what holds Game & Watch back from jumping up leaps and bounds across the tier list, but like I would feel better playing them. And if nothing else, nothing else, it would feel better, and you would get, like, if that magically happened, and if Nintendo literally rolled around and said, hey, we literally buffed Game & Watch, we fixed all those things, here's the real 1.03 where we buffed Game & Watch. I think the real effect might be that some people decide to actually play the character more, and ultimately that's what really gets characters pushed up the tier list, is when somebody picks the character up and plays them a bunch and gets results with them. That's what really, that's what pushed Pikachu up, that's what pushed Yoshi up. Is if we're being honest with ourselves, the thing that actually pushes characters up the tier list is when someone starts doing well with them. So maybe that would inspire somebody to put some time in the Game & Watch. I don't know, but
I mean, yeah, I do think it would do that. I don't really. I mean, I just can't see Game & Watch even going to like upper mid tier. I think Game & Watch insane potential. He's got all his stuff fixed. I think he caps at like mid tier, like
mid tier.
At absolute best. Game & Watch caps probably around there, I would guess. But that would be cool.
Right. That sounds right. That'd be a big win for the Game & Watch players out there, though.
Yeah. I mean, that would be one of the largest tier jumps that we've seen since Yoshi, so that'd be pretty large.
Yeah, it would. It would. It was really funny. There was a tournament I was watching recently. It was an online tournament where Bizarro Flame, I think he lost to. I might be getting the order wrong. He almost got double eliminated by Game & Watch, I think, because it was I think he had to play Forest in winners, and Forest went some Game & Watch that tournament, and then he went to losers and he had to fight like Curb or something. And I was like looking at this bracket, I was like, dude, that's gotta be so weird. Like, imagine staring down the barrel of getting double eliminated by Game & Watch. That's gotta be terrifying.
Yeah, it's intimidating for sure.
So there's definitely some Game & Watches out there like that I would be terrified of fighting. Snap is really good here in NorCal, and Curb and Forrest when he chooses to go Game & Watch. His Game & Watch does look really good. And I mean, I would venture to say that like the Game & Watch crew, if we did character crew battles for like low tiers or something, someone should get on this. This sounds like a fun idea now that now that I'm saying it. I venture to say that the Game & Watch crew would probably wipe the floor with a lot of these other low tiers crews. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But it sounds pretty strong. I'd be scared to fight them.
The Roy crew, I'm a little more intimidated by, I'll be honest.
Yeah, if they've got Zane and Lag. Yeah. So at this point, you got to realize at this point, now that I've seen what Don't Test Me can do in some matchups that I consider to be dog shit, I could see a lot. I've come to realize that there's such heavy outplay potential in Melee that even with the character like Game & Watch, there's some pretty big holes. You can, if you're good enough, you can do stuff with them.
Yeah, Game & Watch doesn't have a crazy dash dance, but his wave dash is okay, and he's got some decent range.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Game & Watch that Roy doesn't have, for example, is he can hit with moves and win neutral and not get CC punished. So that's pretty dope. And he can also he could kill you off throw. I mean, those things are good. So fixing up some
really good for dealing with CC.
Yeah.
If they're showing that they want to crouch, downer is like one of the hardest counters to that because if it's landing hitbox.
Right. So I feel like fixing up some of the stuff, giving him the shield, I think we cap out probably mid tier. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a big jump because he's somewhere in low tier. I'm not exactly sure where he is, like middle of low tier or whatever. I don't know, but going from middle low tier, middle mid tier, that'd be huge. That's a whole tier jump. That's big. So that'd be pretty good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's it for us. SpaceOpera.
Do you play any Game & Watch? Is that why you're asking? What brings this up? If you don't mind us asking.
I don't know. I mean, I think this came up mostly just because I watch a lot of Awesome Sauce videos, and he did a whole video on Mr. Game & Watch and like how much he's actually held back by literal coding errors in this game, which is so sad because like even as a kid, right? Like I loved playing Game & Watch. Like I didn't even know where he was from, but I just found him so like weird and cool and had like such like neat looking animations that like, and even as a kid when I tried playing with him, I was like, why the hell is my shield like so shitty? And it was just a real
notice it, yeah, even as a casual.
Even as like an uber casual player, like I noticed it like, that's really weird. But anyway, yeah, that does answer my question. I just really, really wish he was better. And I like playing him in Ultimate a little bit more, even though he's, I guess, a little bit more like spammy and annoying in Ultimate.
He's different, but he's
Yeah,
super
no, he's
good in
different.
that game for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me tell you, I am happy ultimately that he's not a great character in Melee because anecdotally, it does feel like in every game that Game & Watch is, when he's good, it feels bad. Like, let's put it that way. Like PM 3.02, whatever. Like in the versions of Smash, in every game where a Game Watch is really good, people do not like fighting Game & Watch, as it turns out. So I'm somewhat thankful that he caps out at mid-tier in Melee, because I've seen what he looks like in some other games. I've played against Ultimate Game & Watch, and it is annoying. So maybe it's just a blessing in disguise for the community at large.
We
But he has
contain power for our own safety.
Yeah, for her. That's exactly right.
Wouldn't that be a funny thought? Sakurai had the ability to patch him in PAL, but just decided, listen, we can't unleash Game & Watch on the public.
Yeah, it's a better game if we just leave it this way.
What a forward thinker that Sakurai. That's what I've always said.
Yeah, that's what I've always said as well.
Well, thank you for calling in, SpaceOpera. Really appreciate the question. You got any shout outs for us on your way out today?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to shout out someone else in Discord, Team Kessig, who had a really, really good question that I was actually curious about myself that you guys didn't have time for today. I really hope he comes back next week to ask that question.
Well, I imagine so.
Yeah, and next I'd love to shout out some of my friends' gamer tags, namely Blackstone, Sad Boy Radio, King Simp 69, Brick Frog, and OK. He's an S player.
Makes sense.
Okay.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Awesome talking to you guys as always, and have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, they call him.
I have noticed that
imagine
there's a Ness in my Twitch server, and they really just do like saying okay. It's kind of crazy how much they like doing it. So I guess that's
they
just a
do.
big thing. Yeah, it's a big Ness thing. It's what they do.
Wow.
It's an in
Good for
thing,
them.
I guess.
It's good to have some kind of defining trait or something. I don't know why my mic is still apparently peaking. It's very strange because I've changed literally nothing about it.
It sounded weird right after you connected to OBS Ninja, so I think Discord might have switched your mic source or something.
I
guess.
I had that same thought, and then I went into Discord and I made sure, and it's no.
Oh,
it's
really? Oh, weird. I have no idea.
Discord's just weird with calls sometimes, man.
That's
Just
true.
gets
It's a
ya,
strange. It's a strange thing that Discord is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was good. This was a really strange but definitely fun return to Radio Melee for us. Just so you guys know, we had a guest and then they canceled today.
We had a
but
very
this-
exciting guest. We're
yeah,
gonna try to get them next week though,
Get 'em next
potentially.
week.
I think
Get
they
'em
might be
next week.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, this was cool. I mean, we still at
A
the end of the day,
godly guest,
yeah, for sure,
if you will.
Uh,
And I will.
and he would even. So yeah, I mean, I think the core of the show, right? Us giving our takes, the people calling in, we still got that nailed down. Is there anything that we'll take a couple minutes here at the end before we get into community voice, Toph. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about today? We didn't get the chance to. We did talk about NASB. We did talk
Yeah.
about 1.03.
I'm a big I'm in a spot right now where I'm just thinking to myself, when I turn on my stream later today, what am I streaming? Am I going back to the streets of Nick? Am I gonna play some Super Smash Brothers Melee perhaps?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it is funny, dude. Because like even looking at my right index finger, dude, playing Nick a lot, I've got a big old bump on my finger.
Yeah.
Callus-based bump.
Is your finger gonna make it?
It's gonna make it, but
Okay.
dude, do you ever feel playing Nick that 2 days of Nickelodeon All-stars Brawl has hurt your hands much more than 13 years of Melee? Or is that I might be alone in this sentiment, but my hands hurt a lot thanks to Nick.
When I started doing it and realizing how much you had to air dash, I was like, dude, I'm not even sure my hand's gonna be all right. Because at least in Melee, you're doing a lot of different motions, even if and like there's certain
Yeah.
kinds, and sometimes you have to be kind of jerky when you do them because you're surprised or something. But in Nick, you know what you're gonna do, but it's and I'm just
And
like,
you're gonna do
oh
it over
man,
and over and over and
yeah,
over and over.
yeah.
This
So
is something I learned from Silent Wolf when he had hand problems, and he went to see the PT or whatever. And it turns out that with it's repetitive motions that hurt your hands the most.
Yeah.
This is why like speed running can be tough because
Mhm,
you're kind of doing a lot of the same motion over and over.
mhm.
And man, I'm every time oh god, there's this certain, I don't know if it's just that maybe I gotta learn how to do it without hurting my dang index finger, man.
Yeah, I
It's just
mean,
like,
I know for me, I never had any pain while I was playing, and I think part of that
well,
is
you don't shield, right?
well, I don't yeah, okay, but I'm still air dashing a lot,
Okay,
which I think, you're doing a little more than shielding in that game, I would
it's true.
imagine.
It's
So,
true. Yeah.
and I was also holding down the other trigger to strafe all the time, which apparently no one does, but I did that because I just
I
didn't
think
want
you're
to
just
turn
ahead of
around.
the meta. I think you're like a month ahead of the meta. I think
That'd
they'll
be
catch up
funny.
to it. They're gonna
Yeah,
call it
maybe
PP
that's it.
walking in a month.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I will say I thought it was important to like I would just go in and practice the game by myself, and I would just like try and do the motion just as slowly as I could, just so I could get kind of used to it. What I tell people to do in Melee, and then I also just tried to
Right.
stretch before and after, and I played it a decent amount, but I tried not to overdo it, especially because I knew how
Mhm.
repetitive it was. So I tried to keep myself as safe as I could, and I never had any issues. And as concerned as I've been, I really haven't seen too many people talking about hand issues with the game. So that's been surprising, but that's
Yeah.
been kind of nice. So I guess the hand thing really is a strange thing. I would have expected so many people at this point to be complaining about it, but I guess everyone is still excited or
Yeah.
whatever and handling it. So I guess maybe it'll be all right, but I guess that also depends. Will Thaddeus get involved and save our fingers? Who knows?
This is a prime opportunity for them to pair. Ludosity can team up with 1 HP,
Yeah,
and do
Caitlin McGee will
kind of
get on this
promotional.
one.
That's right. We'll get her on the case.
Yeah.
I actually really did appreciate that Leffen put out that tweet that was like, all right, well, I know you guys are all really excited with this game right now, but please do take care of your hands. I thought that was a nice tweet for him to make,
Yeah,
Some people need to hear that. Some people need to hear
that's
that.
true.
Maybe I needed to hear that. Maybe I
Well,
needed
you
to
were
hear
already concerned about it. I think even before that, you were talking about it when we were doing the filming last week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, I will say at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily that concerned about because I feel like it's not the bad kind of pain.
Mm.
Like I'm a lot more.
Oh,
Put it this way. Let's put it this
way.
way. I'm a lot more
I'm concerned now.
I'm a lot more concerned with something that feels like my bones or my joints or my carpal, like carpal tunnel type.
Right.
This is just the skin
Muscle.
on my index finger.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm developing this like crazy callus, but like if it's just the skin, I think that's fine. I don't think that's nearly as bad for you.
Well, I've gotten
Right?
calluses
This is
from
like
Melee.
literal tendonitis.
So if I get calluses from Melee, eventually the callus will protect my skin and it won't hurt
Right,
anymore.
exactly.
So you need to see if the pain is going to go away or not. Because if you have the callus and you're still getting the pain, then
Something else is happening. It's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out, I suppose.
Yeah.
We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't know. I'm in an interesting spot with the game. I
It's
really
true.
do. I am very curious how these patches shake out. I want to know
Yeah.
if I can go back to Toph at some point or if I need to just every time I watch a stream, I was watching Plup play this weekend and he was playing Michelangelo in a very let's say a very
I know what you mean.
repetitive way.
Yes.
And I was looking at it, I was like, dude, I think I need to play a character like this. I think
Yeah.
I can't.
That's what the
I
game
can't
is
be
made
messing
for.
around. Yeah. I think
Uh,
as the honeymoon period wears off, if I'm gonna keep playing it, I need to pick a real top tier.
Yeah.
Because I think I've been playing struggle bus characters for my lifespan in the game, dude.
and
I've been playing. Anyway,
tiers are real. I know we had a Game & Watch
as it turns
question,
out.
and everyone wants to believe in that that young Link can do it, but
Mhm.
tiers are real, gamers.
Yeah. Tiers are definitely real. And it's kind of almost refreshing because this was a whole thing because like Melty Blood came out and people were trying to make Melty Blood tier lists and they realized the game is actually very, 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 very well balanced. No one can agree on who the best or the worst character is, and it feels like almost like there's like an like most people's tier lists are like there's like an S tier with half the cast and then like an A tier with the other half the cast. It's
That's
like
kinda
there's not
funny.
really no one's that weak. And this was kind of something that got brought up was like, you know, the thing is a lot of new fighting games, they don't really have bad balance issues. Like a lot of newer fighting games, because like, you know, I think you even look at Ultimate, like there are a lot of like a big, I would say a majority of the cast in Ultimate, which is a huge cast, by the way, if you've seen
Yeah.
it, is viable. You know, like you could succeed in turn with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
It's almost refreshing to me with Nick that that we've got like we've got some actual tier disparity again. Because you know, I don't know, it's like weird to be nostalgic for this, but like I kind of like that there are bad characters in Melee. Like
Dude,
if
a
Roy was actually
character
good,
that's rough and you goon on someone,
it's
there's no
exciting.
that's a fun feeling. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude, anytime I beat someone with Toph, I'm just like, I'm so much better than you. I had to win neutral 50 times.
Yeah, dude, that's freaking fun.
I have defeated you thoroughly. I don't know. But, you know, that being said, please buff my girl.
Yeah, very fair point. That feeling does not come along often enough.
Mhm.
So how do we transition this into a community voice question, Toph? I have a question that
yeah.
I have a question that I thought of beforehand, but it is not related to any of this at all.
Okay, hit me.
The question is, what is your
You-
favorite degenerate smash tweet?
Oh boy, Degenerate. Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, hey, I love a good old 180. I'm down to just, you know, we can just definitely shift gears. Okay, what do you mean by degenerate? Do you mean like
I mean, well, something we can show on this show, but you
Okay.
know,
Well,
like
we can show a lot of stuff on the show.
the
I actually-
missing
we can
ledge
show-
dash, the missing ledge dash tweet. You know the one I'm talking about? I think it was the fiction one. Yeah,
Fictions. Yeah. We've got well, there's some good ones. There's
Yeah.
you know, help me. I'm stuck, stepbrother. I'm stuck in my turnaround animation. That might be one of my picks.
Yeah, it's a good one. So we could
That's a
do
good one.
that. We could that could be our community voice. This is really something that people need to be thinking about.
Listen, here's what I want. I love this question, and I'm gonna add to this by saying
Okay.
try to find something for us, those of you in the YouTube comments, try to find something for us that maybe we would, because there's a lot of degenerate smash tweets that we know and that get shared around endlessly, that get memed on for years to come. But there are probably some very really funny ones that maybe fly under the radar a little bit, and maybe there's some that really tickled your pickle that maybe I have never even seen. So if you find some really, you know, deep cuts, then we'll be more likely to promo those next week when we come back with hopefully our godlike guest.
Yeah, which I'm sure they would love to experience this. And you know, I think
Of course.
it's kind of funny to do the 180 on this incredible. We had some really serious moments on this show. It is, I
Yeah.
think, kind of great that we have a lighthearted ending and a lighthearted start to the next one.
So it's a good old lighthearted sandwich.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I guess it's more of a serious sandwich, because usually you identify a sandwich by its.
Yeah, I
what's in the
wasn't
middle,
gonna.
not
I
by the
wasn't
bread.
gonna. I wasn't gonna say
Say it.
anything, but yeah. But
Well, you know me with the multi-grading. I'm very serious about my.
I was also thinking about multi-grading when you talked
naming
about the
conventions.
sandwich. Okay, we
We're on
need
the same
to
page.
end. We need to end. So we've had the
we need to
loop.
end, especially because apparently I need to fix my mic. Sorry to everyone who had to deal with my mic quality issues.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get it sorted out by the.
Oh
upload. I have no
man.
idea.
Well, thank you guys so
what's
much
going on with my mic.
for listening, for calling in. This is Radio Melee. Thank you so much, Toph, for joining me. We
Mm.
are signing out. See you next week, gamers.